What a lot of people, I think, get wrong is like having all the tools and then doing everything at once, but there is not a system which closes the loop.
Where do you see B2B sales to grow into? Is it still going to have parts of traditional sales, or do you think that AI is going to drive sales at scale?
I believe that the more B2B outbound is getting more and more with the AI layer on top of it, I think the data quality, the signals that you are really targeting the right person, that you can really understand their pain point and talk to the point about if they need it or not is getting more and more important.
So, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Now, if you have been someone who has worked in B2B sales over, say, the last few years, you have probably noticed something very interesting. That today companies aren't struggling because, say, they don't have enough prospects, but they are struggling because they don't have the right data or the right tools to build their entire GTM motion. And to help us understand exactly this, I am excited to welcome Brian, who's the founder and CEO of AI Ark. So, Brian, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm actually looking forward to you sharing about your journey of building AI Ark and your insights with our audience as well. So today's discussion is say designed primarily for founders, SDRs, sales leaders, RevOps professionals, and GTM engineers as well. And the goal is very simple: to understand how modern B2B data, AI, and outbound campaigns are actually evolving. So let me just quickly start with the very first question. Right? That is, today, say companies are investing heavily in AI in terms of email sequencing tools, a lot of automation platforms, right? When we talk about GTM technology as a stack, right, what is your opinion about it, and what do you think companies should focus on, considering that every single day we have a new tool that's coming in the market?
Mm. So thank you first of all for having me. So I think what a lot of so about the GTM, what a lot of people I think get wrong is like having all the tools and then doing everything at once, but there is not a system which closes the loop. So what I believe is important that you focus on having the data. So that's the first layer that you understand. Okay, who I'm targeting, get the companies, get the people, and in the next phase you put an intelligence on it. So you're going to find out, is this really the right company? You want to maybe go deeper, find out if you can get some signals out of it, validate the data, and then also as a third step, you have a workflow. So okay, um, what automation will I use? How will I connect it? How will I further go and build messaging on it? And then which system will I use to send out the emails or uh, go into LinkedIn or anywhere else? And lastly, and that's often missed, what is the outcome of all of this, right? So they don't just go, okay, I'm gonna spray and pray, but I don't understand, did this campaign work? Did this niche work? Did this messaging work? And I think that's what a lot of people just miss. They just go out and just blast and pray, especially if you're an agency. I believe it's important that you have this data for yourself, but also for your clients. So you want to present it to them. I ran this campaign. I did this experiment. I did this and that. The companies are really, or the people that I'm targeting are completely, bulletproof, confirmed by AI that it's the right target, everything. And then, you can really say, I tried this, I tried that, and you learn from it yourself. So it's helping you in any way. So not don't get all the tools and just and grab everything, but focus on closing the loop. And again, as an agency, you should have not just one data source. That's true because you need good B2B data. You need also e-commerce data, right? Sometimes for clients.
Yeah.
So you maybe help e-com clients. They could be local. You want to target restaurants. You have to have some Google Maps data. So the thing is that you should have different places to go for. But again, closing the cycle is important than everything else. Yeah.
It makes sense as well because, again, as an agency, when we were reaching out to on behalf of a lot of clients or setting up their motions, we realized this one thing, that there's always going to be that experimentation, that trial and error that you're going to do. Right? And at the end of the day, what is going to matter is you have one system that works, but how are you closing that entire loop for it? How are you ensuring that the results of it are mapped? So that completely makes sense. What I would also want to understand, right, while you have explained in detail about the different layers and about closing the loop, I would want to understand more about your journey. What actually inspired you to build a platform like AI Ark? And yeah, if you could just share a bit about that.
Yeah, so I started with my co-founder and brother. We started AIBs, which is a outbound B2B agency, and we started in 2018. We went, I think, after 15 months, we reached 1 million AIR, and from that, from the beginning, when we, well, not at the beginning, but after like 10 months, 11 months, we saw like, hey, there are all these tools out there, and they have a lack of data. They're not doing the right thing, and for us as an agency, and we can see this really recently happening a lot, you know, you have to target so many people. So you need a lot of data. So recently, I don't know if it's still happening, people were using Apollo Scraper, for example.
Yeah,
But there are so many gaps in the data. It's you don't even know who did you target. So the data was also often inaccurate.
yeah,
So what we did is for ourselves, we started to look into, hey, we have to build it ourselves and we have to do it for ourselves. So we started to build our own products. We invested every cent which we made in the agency into building our own product, which is AI Arc. We pivoted a few times in the product that we wanted to build, but we reached then AI Arc. And I can only say AI Arc is built by agency owners for agencies, right? So that's the first people that we are reaching out, and that's our target. And we can look at it from our users. These are the people who are most happy to use AR because it gives them what they need to start their campaigns.
completely makes sense. That's quite interesting. It's sort of like built by the agency founders for the agency founders. So that's quite good. Uh, could you actually walk us through how the platform is? What are the certain use cases that you feel that today agency owners or anyone who's say building a product of their own and they want to develop their GTM system, how AR could help?
Look, I don't know about the experience. I will walk you through some examples, which I think would be helpful for anybody. But I don't know, is my sharing? Can you see the page?
Yeah, it's visible.
Is it good? Okay.
Yeah,
Let me make it maybe a little bit bigger.
yeah,
So
perfect.
ARC is just I on purpose also what we did at ARC. So as you know, it looks very familiar to Apollo, for example, right? Or many other, because I believe that the best thing is why should you reinvent the wheel, right? Because people know how to use it. So that's actually one thing that we did. But in terms of, I believe our things that only ARC has is we have great filters for really finding targeted people, which I think you cannot do anywhere else. One of them is the people keyword filter. So if you go here, we have a people keyword filter, and it will basically scan, any person who is. You can really go over all these spaces, right, and try to understand. Um, to really search for keywords. So, for example, if I go right now here and I select the headline, summary, work history. I would say education I would not go for now, but we can also go for skills, right? And I would go right now and I would target here, for example, even like GTM,
Yeah,
um, or GTM, right? So we would see that we would get people who have somewhere, and we can even go more deeper. Let's say, hey, I only want the people who had it in their work history. Let's remove the skills, right? So we have 450, 540,000 people who have somewhere in their work with work experience, right? I hope we picked out the right guy. So we go here. It should be somewhere here, right? Let's see. I didn't test it this really, but Sumishi GTM.
I think it's mentioned in the description as well. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, but no, but it should be. This guy has a lot of companies
A
inscription, to
lot of
be honest,
experience.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it should be somewhere. It should be here actually,
yeah,
because I selected the other one. Let me see. See. Yeah, there it is,
right,
right?
right.
So and then you can go. Yeah, I mean, you can even, I'm sorry, right? I don't want to, you can even, I'm just saying you can go and go put in dog shit, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is like the people, okay, 100 people having the work history dog shit. I don't know why, we don't also want to go in the profiles because it's going to be like this. But you can just do anything. You can also ask me right now, one thing I can show you. But this is really something to find really, the niche needs people that you want to target, right? I think nobody has, and you can go into each place. Do you have any idea what you want to search for or no?
So basically, I think this helps in terms of targeting. I have a use case. Okay, say if
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
looking for people that are, let's say, for example, they are working in the fintech space in terms of hedging. Let's just take an example. So we have one of our clients that is in the fintech space, and in their work or description, they should mention hedging as a keyword.
So let's go. Let's look into it.
Yeah. Amazing. So if we are able to get this sort of data, right, when there's an amazing amount of profiles that we are able to get, now this becomes very much important for me because I know that if I'm reaching out to anyone in the finance or the treasury space, then they have this as part of their job role or job, skill or something like that.
Yeah, you can even go into projects and it's certificates, right?
Yeah.
So you can go further. And then, of course, what you would do is that's one thing. Now you say, okay, location, where is your target?
So see, let's consider North America, US, Canada.
North America. No Canada or include
Yeah, we can
Canada.
have Canada as well. Yeah.
Okay, North America. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you can then go and just keep on filtering more and more.
Yeah.
Go into like the industry more, NIA codes, product and services, what they offer in the company.
Okay.
There's more and more filters that you can use to filter them more down. The size, of course, whatever
So overall,
these are the base.
this family helps in terms of targeting as much, deeper as we can.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I would also one other filter I think is also interesting. So this is one of them, right?
Yeah.
Um, is that you go and you say, even again in the keyword one. So let's say you go, this is what we still do with AIBs, and that was a great, it was a great breakthrough with one campaign. We had a campaign back then, and they were it was from Brazil, right?
Okay.
So they were selling cybersecurity software, something. It's very difficult to sell cybersecurity,
Yeah.
if you know that or not. So what we tried out, and we tried so many things out, and they didn't really go well. So what we did is that we said, okay, let's find out who is, in the target market, which was North America, who is speaking Portuguese. So
Oh,
and how can we do this again? So if we put in here, right? So something like, I don't know, Korean, right? And now you remove you can just go here, right? And there is something here called languages, right? Your language skills, right? So by that, and here even at the university. So here, if we have also the advanced one. So what you can do then is like take all the top university or top cities of Korea and paste them inside here, right? So I think Seoul is one. I think
yeah.
is it Seoul? Seoul, Seoul. So I don't know the capital right now, but just imagine you put in here all the universities. You can just ask AI, give me the top
Okay.
university or give me the top cities of Korea, and then it would automatically find you also by the education, because in the
Okay.
education, let's make an example here. Yeah, Korea, right? So most likely, if we go now to this person, and I will open her up, she most likely has somewhere in her um, education, there must be something about Korea. Yeah, Korea, right? But
Right.
you more normally can even find it out by the university names, right?
Okay.
So the university name is if you give the top universities, that's going to give you an idea. This person definitely must speak, Korean, right?
Yeah.
Not only by the language skills, but even here, this is a great one because now you can write the email in Korean or just make a great first line,
Yeah.
in cold email, talk Korean. The person is just going to connect with you easier, right? So that's one thing that we do at the beginning. Ask anybody in the company that you are working with, hey guys, do you have anybody who has a ethnicity, a second language, so we can build this campaign out for them? And it works because now you go again and you say you target by job title, you target by job role. So yeah, these ones are I think things that I have not seen elsewhere
No, I've
in
also
terms
personally
of
not seen it on any other platform. Like this depth of filtering, I don't think it's available anywhere as of now.
yeah. Um, I can give you another one, which I think is also interesting. So this is for recruiters, maybe interesting. So that you say, okay, you put the companies. Let's say you want to hire somebody
Okay.
who is let's say a software developer. Let's say you want to hire for a software company who is building a cryptocurrency exchange platform, something like that, right? I'm just coming up with something. So now you would go and paste inside. You could go here and paste inside there in bulk the companies that are right now cybersecurity companies, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, not cybersecurity, cryptocurrency companies, right?
Yeah.
Now you can go, and we can do this as a small example. Let's say I go right now and I say, okay, um, the person should have, you go then to previous company, right? And you say here, for example, I'm just making it Hunter.io, that's
Yeah.
a email
Yeah.
verification platform. So now you want to find in the previous company, they no longer work there, right? Now you want to find Google, you want to find a job title like you go into the department of, um, um, you can just put in here, I don't know, let me just go a little bit more down. Oops. So we can go by department and say, go to the product department, for example, right?
Yeah.
So then everybody who has, okay, there is nobody there who is engineering, right? So now you will find people who have previously worked, right, at Hunter. So and now you can go by CTO or anybody you want to hire, and then you have these people who have some experience in this field, and that's a great hire, which you
Yeah.
want to headhunt and which your client likes, right?
Correct.
Um, yeah. So that's also a good one. I think people maybe not aware of.
Right. No, that's quite interesting a use case. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like
So
apart from say the data bit, right? Data plays a very important role, right? What else can be done? See now, consider say for example, there is a person. Many times that we have faced this issue that whenever we have clients coming in, their ICP is not defined that well. Right? They have a very vague ICP that they have designed. For a person who is just starting out with understanding how GTM systems or just B2B sales works, for them when they want to say start with doing the research, okay, understanding that what is the use case, how can one start with it? Like say if they have a list of existing clients and they want to start with the research from that point, how can AIR play a role with it?
So I would say you can with not only AR, but you can connect the MCP, right? So you go here. There's a place where you can connect your MCP server, right? As you know, there's something. I mean, you can just Google it, chat, go to chat and ask how can you connect
Yeah.
MCPs. But basically, if you do that, you can just chat or with Claude, and just simply ask them, hey, do for me this kind of search, that kind of search. These are my targets. These are the people I want to target, and you keep on going and just be yourself. Just tell them like, hey, I have no experience at all. Help me to build a great search. Help me to build a prompt
Yeah.
to build a great search. How would you go with this? How would you and go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper? Just chat with this person and find out. And then, I think this will help you really. It will take some 1, 2 hours, I think, did you make this research, but then you get better and better for each time you do it. And then after a while, I think you become really good at, you know, understanding and
Yeah.
connecting the dots very fast.
Makes sense. Yeah. I think the platform is amazing. I would recommend all of our viewers to at least test it out to see how the entire filtering part works. How can you target better? So yeah, thank you so much for the walkthrough. I had a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
of other questions as well.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
Let me show one thing still to you,
yeah,
if you
sure.
if you allow me. There's one idea I think is great because um, what I think is also interesting that you want to target sometimes companies. I'm talking about something about cybersecurity, or if you have another idea, tell me. But you can go into the company search and say, "Hey, I wanna." This is actually a new filter that we have.
Yeah.
You can go and say, I don't want to show, don't so exclude companies, who have, some sort of a department. Could be right now. Actually, you can say exclude companies who have a GTM engineer, who have this kind of, a person inside the company, right? Because then you want to hire them. Now you can go and do the same. Now, of course, the U.S. Army shows up, right? So you have to do more filtering.
We can
But
put
if
up
you
the
exclude,
industries. Yeah.
yeah, you go by industries, you go more. You can even go right now again and go down and say, okay, go further down. We have also the company keywords, right?
Okay.
Or you go and use industries, whatever you can do, filter it, narrow it down. But now you're sure this company doesn't have a GTM department. They don't have a cybersecurity department, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to find hospitals which don't have any cybersecurity department. Now I want to offer them my service. So these are also things which I think are overlooked to really find these niches like that,
Yeah.
right? All right, so
Yeah. It does make
you just
sense.
go ahead.
Yeah. So the next question that I actually had is, I think you've covered a part of it, but more on the lines of, say, there are these young folks out there who are just moving into GTM, or who are moving into B2B sales. They are completely coming in from a non-tech background. Right? How would you recommend them to leverage AI and see data to automate their entire prospecting game, at the same time gain more deeper understanding of their ICP? So, what would be your, say, advice for them?
I would again say go and use connect the MCPs and chat with them. But I tell you one thing today, information is freely available, right? So when I was going back to school, you had to do something for school or something. You had to go to the library, and in the library you had to ask them for this book. Was it there? Then you had to open it, and read everything and find everything. I don't know how old you are, but that was back in the time like that. Today, it's just one click away. It's everything is on YouTube, it's on chat. So what I would suggest though, in YouTube, follow people like you, follow other people who are in the space, and they are always, interviewing people, or they themselves give out, great strategies. And of course, using, chat applications like Claude, chat.com, anything the like, which connects to the MCP, this going to give you always great ideas. But there are many, like yourself, they are out there who teach this, and it's just a click away. And this is, I think, the best way how I would go and jump into the game. And you have to, as an agency or a GTM engineer, you definitely have to be on top of the game. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. The
Yeah.
good thing is, if it would be so easy, you learn it once and you don't have to do it again, then everybody would succeed and you would be
Yeah.
not needed. But as an agency or a GTM engineer, you have to be always, learning the latest trends, doing it, because outbound marketing, everything alike is a living beast, right? It's changing
Yeah.
every day. What works yesterday doesn't work now. Then it works again 6 months from now. I didn't mention it at the beginning where I told about the system. So definitely also there's the infrastructure part, right?
Yeah.
That when you use cold email, that it lands in the inbox. That's a big, big, big important thing.
Makes sense.
So I would just go. I would focus on watching people like you, yeah, getting classes, everything to like, and just being up to date. Even being in a class or two classes, uh, they are also feeding these. They're having the latest things, and they have to feed their class. So this is always good, just to be subscribed to a class
Yeah.
all the time. So
Makes sense.
that's my answer.
Yeah. I think that's a wonderful advice for the viewers, especially those starting out in their GTM career. Now coming out, this is something that I ask every single guest that we get onto the podcast, is from a company standpoint. Okay, there are tools that come into the market. There are tools that are leveraged really well. But for a company to define the ROI for a particular tool, it is something that is not directly upfront, that okay, you get to know that okay, what is the ROI this tool is going to give me. It's something that happens over time when you see the results coming in. Right? So for those sort of companies, if they want to evaluate platforms, or if they want to figure out that okay, what ROI can this particular platform give me, uh, what should be the way in which they should think about? One more additional question onto this is, when you, as the founder of such platform, a GTM Tech, look about this particular field, how fast it's evolving, where do you see it to go in, or what is the direction you see that okay, things are going to move into? Is traditional sales still going to be at the core of things? Is modernization, is AI going to be the next thing, or is it, say for example, going to be the only thing that's going to be driving sales at scale? What are your views on this?
Um, so for the first question, um, I believe evaluating, I will say it very without bashing others. I think there are things, and if you go into this, there are the processing tools. Like I would say Clay is a processing tool, right? So it is just a sheet and you process it. And then there are the data providers. And when it comes to data, I think there are two things which are important. So one is the data really up to date? Because what you can see, and not naming everybody, but a lot of times you see these um, people who just have data from 1 year ago,
Yeah.
and they just give it, then hey, you can use it, you can, but the data is really 1 year old. So that's going to give you just and you can easily find it out. Like if you go to AI Ark even right now, right, and you just go and you make a search, right, and you can always check it out. So our data is 30 days old, right? It's always getting refreshed. If I go to people and you just go here and you say it's under a job role, and you would say, okay, who is now the time and current role, time and current company, right?
Yeah.
So if I say maximum, like I don't know, 3 months, you can see the amount, right?
Yeah.
If you do this, you will also see, hey, did these people really move their jobs in this time? And you see, yeah, no, he's since 2 months there. So that's important because when you put the same person somewhere else, you want to see, hey, the data is old. This is one thing which is important. I think the other important thing is you should own hardly, or you should own the data. So when it comes to AI Arc right now, I'm sorry, I'm after talking about AI Arc, but when it comes to AI Arc, you own the data in a sense. So you have here, if you look at it, you have here the saved records, the total records, and the net new. So the saved records is the data that you own, right? So you have saved them. You pay for them only also once, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we have an update for this data, you will be notified, and you pay not you pay a little bit of the amount that you would pay. So our pricing is also super. If you compare it, it's almost like it's very very agency supportive, right, for
Yeah.
mass outbound. But generally, you don't have to pay again. Now, what is this actually useful for? One thing that it's useful for is that you can go, and you should do this actually. You should understand you can build lists, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna put them, and now you wanna for example create a list, and you want to put them here, and check them out, and add for example your client's name or whatever here, right? So you put in your client's name, and then you create this list and you move them once to a list, right? Why is this important? Because now that you have added them to a list, right? Can later say, "Oh, did I target them already?" Right? You can build a blacklist. You understand that this targeted list, these targets belong to one of your clients or to one of your campaigns. If you don't do this, you're just gonna hammer all the time, maybe the same people. You don't even know how big your TAM is, right? Because right now, if I go to, for example, the total, right, and I can just go here and I go here to the list, right? And I say exclude list, right? Now I can put in here, for example, this list, what is it? Let me give you a bigger one, 29,000, right? So now it will remove 29,000 from my search results and I get the fresh ones, right? So
Yeah.
that's something I think you own it, you don't pay again for it. And on top of that, you can build for your clients lists, blacklists, campaign lists. That's something I think is also a key. And this works all the way through because the data you own, you have it by yourself. Versus if you just go and you take sales nav, and you push them somewhere else, it's it's
Yeah.
it's 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 a big mess. What happened afterwards with it? You know,
Makes
That's
sense.
would be first question. The second question was what? I lost it. Sorry.
No worries.
Was
So the
about.
second question was considering that say we are moving at a very fast pace. Okay, where do you see B2B sales to grow into? Is it still going to have parts of traditional sales, or do you think that AI is going to drive sales at scale? So what are your thoughts on that?
I believe that the more B2B outbound is getting more and more, AI, with the AI layer on top of it. I think the data quality, the signals that you are really targeting the right person, that you can really understand their pain point and talk to to the point about if they need it or not is getting more and more important. Right, that's one thing. I believe also that um, I don't think that human interaction, so sales calls, I think they're going to get more valuable. And I don't think that that's actually going to be, I think, personal connections, even what you do on LinkedIn, how many interactions you have, how you present yourself. I believe that's not going to go down. That's going to go up. But I believe you just have to be better in the quality and in the targeting and in the messaging, and that you really find out that this company and this persona uh, could maybe need my service. So it's going to be much more needed to have better quality. But I don't see any way and anyhow that sales meetings will be so much replaced with an automate. Some people say that there's going to be an automated person answering all the questions.
Yeah.
I don't see this going, especially in B2B sales when there is when there is when there's a higher price tag, not even a very high one. There's going to be still this kind of people want to talk to humans, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be all. Thank you so much, Brian, for answering our questions and taking us through AI. I'll just quickly highlight one of my biggest takebacks for today's conversation was it isn't about say successfully running email campaigns or outbound campaigns anymore, unless and until say you're combining it with accurate data, the right signals, as you mentioned again, the value of that data, those insights that you're able to generate with every single data point that you're able to get about that person or that prospect. So I think that matters at the core of things before even
I
you
want to
initiate.
add one more thing, really, which is
Yeah,
really important. You know what? I don't think that as a B2B outbound agency, if we talk about that thing, even as a GTA engineer, I think you can do so many more things than you were doing before. So you can do many things automated. So I think as an agency, you should not only help your own business or the company only with outbound. You should look, hey, can I help them also to create content to be, listed there and here? And you should look into to help the companies also long term, midterm, and many other aspects. That's going to give you, be more T shaped. You know, you can do it right now. It's you can do much more with what you were doing before. You needed 5 people. Now you can do it with 2 people, right? So that's one thing I think people should do for sure.
thank you so much for that. That was quite a good end to our conversation today. For the followers, if you found this really valuable, make sure that you like this video, to subscribe to our channel. Please check out AI Ark, and thank you so much for watching this episode of the podcast with Ames Consulting Services. And thank you so much for joining, Brian. I hope
Thank you,
yeah, this was good at your end as well.
thank you, thank you, thank you for having me.